So you just got back from Afghanistan, spending 7 days with the Taliban.
Yeah.
How does one contact the Taliban from America?
Dude, it's actually kind of a funny story. I was scrolling on Instagram one day and I saw a comment from someone. And I'm sure you guys have seen those comments before, like, come to Brazil or like, come to India.
Never for like Afghanistan.
Yeah. And so I click on his profile and he had a relatively large following at the time and he spoke very good English. And I was like, all right, well, this guy seems legitimate. I'm not going to talk to him and it's going to be a waste of my time. And he comments on my post, like, you should come to Afghanistan in due time. And I remember hitting up my friends when we were on the couch, like, we just got invited to Afghanistan. This is insane. And we started talking back and forth. And after like 4 months, because we were going to plan a retreat around it. And after 4 to 6 months of talking, like, hey, are you sure about this? Like, can you guarantee safety to some extent? Is this legitimate? Like, back and forth. And he's like, dude, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We ended up planning a retreat around it. We had 15 paying people. And then 2 weeks beforehand, the Israel and Iran conflict started to heat up like crazy. And every single one of them dropped out except 3 people. And it was our videographer, it was one of my best friends, Kale, and another guy, Colton.
The 3 psychopaths that are in the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we sent it, man. And the amount of pushback we got it got so bad to the point where I even told my family I wasn't going. And I blocked their contacts on social media and hid all my stories from them. And I didn't tell them until I was in Dubai because our videos started to go nuclear on social media. And the way I got popped was my brother-in-law's cousin or something recognized me and just blew the whole operation.
Oh my gosh.
And again, we were leaving, like, we woke up to the news that the United States bombed Iran and we're about to go into World War III. And I'm like in the most volatile region of the world at the time. And we're running late to the airport. Thank God that flight took off from Kabul because I think it could have been way more stressful than it had to be. But it ended up just being a long layover in Dubai. And it was fine.
Now, before we drop in, because like I watched a lot of stuff, I want to ask a lot of questions on the micro, but zoomed out, your initial thoughts of Afghanistan prior to going there compared to the end result of like was your mind changed on anything?
Absolutely. That was actually the most wonderful thing about the trip because all we had was movies and war stories and media narratives about that entire country. So we're going in like these people are monsters, to the highest degree. They're going to want to kill us. Like we're meeting people with millions of dollars of bounties on their head, having picnics with them. And it's like, this guy was just at war with the United States 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever that was when we left. It's like, how is he going to react to an American in his country? It's like, we were so extremely vulnerable in so many situations. There had to have been an angel looking over us, or maybe it was us being naive or ignorant to some extent, but they were the most hospitable people we've ever met. It was insane.
Dude, I mean, like watching anyone that's listened to this, I wildly encourage them to go watch the YouTube video because it's awesome. What are some of the things that we didn't see in the YouTube video? Like there's things that you weren't able to film. Like for example, you guys went to the US base. Yeah. That was like pretty much completely intact. They just left everything, right? Yeah. You weren't able to film. No. What's going on at the US base there?
They're very, very particular about cameras over there. Yeah. Especially just film. Like it's not like the United States or other countries where you can just go and start filming for fun and content and stuff like that. They're a very strict country. I think one of the most notable things is our videographer Calvin, a Viking. He looks like a Viking. He's got this super long curly hair. He's a gem of a human being. He wrestled one of the Taliban, and he won. But they had like we know he won, but they had to break it up because if he had officially lost, they would have killed him.
By law?
No, because that one guy that we met with that we couldn't film, we were with his kids and his whole security ensemble was there, and they loved him because he's a big dude and he wrestled him. But if he lost to him, it would have shown defeat to him, right? It's like, here's my protection. If they're losing, right, it means that I'm losing. And so it would have been such a huge disgrace that they would have killed him. And they were like joking about it. And he there was no fear in his head about it. It was just like, that's how it goes over there.
Shit.
What's going through your mind when you're on that flight to go meet the Taliban?
I was pretty irrationally optimistic about it until I got to the airport when this felt real. Because I was cocky. I'm in the United States. I'm in the comfort of my friends. You know, I'm talking to him. He's like, it's going to be fine. And then on the way to the airport, I started getting pretty stressed. Stressed to the point where I was like a little snappy as well. And I was like, this is it. Like, that's when I really started to think, is this going to kill me? This is one of the worst decisions of my life right now. I was very nervous.
And so you get there, you touch down. You guys are probably not dressed. Yeah. Like walk us through, like, you touch down. What's going through your head, as well as, like, are people staring at you? Like, who the hell is this American in Afghanistan?
Actually, I got a great story. So we were in the Dubai airport, and there's only 2 flights to Kabul every single day from Dubai. And we're like thrown in the back, the last boarding gate, and it's all Afghan people. And then there was one white lady. And we're like, all right, well, there's a commonality here. Let's go talk to her. And she apparently works with the Red Cross, and she is flabbergasted that we're going for vacation, like for fun. She's like, what the hell are you guys doing? And we told her our itinerary. She goes, I don't want to see you guys on the news because one of the regions you're going to, there was a terrorist attack about a year ago there on some tourists who were visiting. There was just some shooting. And she was really fear-mongering us. And that got in our heads before we're flying there. And then when we land, it's just utter chaos. Like, we're taxiing on the runway, and there are Apache helicopters, Black Hawks, U.S. Air Force, cargo planes, like, they're just on the runway. We're like, holy shit, like, we are in this. And it's utter chaos at customs and immigration. It's like a room. There's no sense of organization or structure, and everyone is wearing the same thing. And we have no idea what's going on. They're barely speaking English. Random people are coming up to us. It was chaos. Fortunately, our tour guide was able to just meet us in there. He just broke through all the security and got us, and it ended up being fine because we had some liaison or point of contact. But until we had him, it was pretty stressful. Dude,
that's insane. Now, the U.S. obviously 4 years ago or whatever it was, like, this disastrous leaving of Afghanistan that probably could have been done a lot better to most people's standards. Now, what is their interpretation of the U.S.? Like, how does the Taliban view the U.S. and like, is it laughable the way that we exited and just gave them trillions of dollars worth of equipment? Like, what's that perception like?
They're pretty prideful in it. That was one of the main points of discussions was, why are you guys so welcoming to us? Why are you guys so hospitable? Part of it is their culture and religion, which is amazing. But second, they realize it's the government, not the people, which is relieving in a lot of senses, because I don't think many people in the West could ever adopt a mindset like that. Maybe more so nowadays due to a lot of different political figures rising up and making things more mainstream. But in their mind, they've been at war for the last 40 years and they're sick of it, man. Imagine just 40 years of people coming to your country and trying to terrorize you or fight you for whatever reason you have, whether it's conspiracy or politics or power or strategic placement. They felt used for so long. Like, we had no reason to be over there. Absolutely not. And they're like, finally, there's peace in the region. There's some semblance of structure, and we're working towards actually being a country of just sustainability for our own people. So they viewed us actually so kindly because they saw us in their own country wearing their own clothes, and there was an attempt at relatability that they saw. So even if we couldn't communicate to one another, there was a sense of respect. We're not there for malice or to make fun of the country. They can tell that.
Sure.
Yeah. How do you think the Taliban views themselves in perspective to, like, the outside world? Like, do they have an understanding of how the rest of the world sees them versus how they actually see themselves?
To be honest, I don't think they can give less of a shit about it at all. They're so devout in their religion that it's all towards God. They couldn't give less of a fuck about what people think of them.
And why do you think they have such a bad reputation?
I think they have a more ancient way of living that hasn't developed with new age practices or of modernity. And so when people see that, they're like, oh, look at these cavemen, they're X, Y, and Z, they're animals, you know, all this stuff. But this is what works for them. This is what gives them purpose and faith. And they're going to stick with that. It's worked for thousands of years for them, and they don't see a reason to change it.
What?
And again, I'm super excited, but I'm not the hugest. I'm not here to, you know, evangelize Afghanistan. It's a country that still needs a lot of development and work here. But they are good people.
Yeah, totally. And I like the distinction you made, because it's these governments at play, which are a relative few amount of people that are speaking for the millions and hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
And when you realize that there's forces that are pulling strings and trying to keep us divided, you realize that like us and people that are on the complete opposite side of the world are pretty much the same exact people. Most people are inherently good.
Yes.
And some of my best friends are Muslims. Some of great people. And from a faith and Christianity standpoint, it's so much more connected than you think. As I've gone down the rabbit hole. We were talking about this last night. What was your view? Let me rephrase this. You got Western culture, which is kind of where we live in now, and then you got Eastern culture, which is more custom, more traditional. What are some of the things that you love about that side of things versus the modern world that we live in right now?
I think they have a strong emphasis on family, but what's the most fascinating to me is I think that culture is probably the strongest that actually has a fear of God. I mean, they're fearless because they know that they're going to heaven, right? And so anything in they fear no man, no casualty, no war, and it's so deeply intuitive to them that like it makes sense why we lost. I mean, I don't think the United States has won a war since World War II, and so you see these people in the same clothes that we were wearing. There are these like long garbs and vests and sandals, and they're winning against this titan of the United States because they are so deeply enriched by their faith that like you can't compete against willpower like that. And so that was really, really fascinating to me to see people live every day. I mean, they're praying at 2 a.m., 1 a.m. They're so strict with it, but it's like, being tired or not wanting to do that doesn't even cross their mind. Like it couldn't care less. The amount of discipline with that was inspiring, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Why risk your life to tell these stories? Like what's in it for you that made you, truly risk your life, at least in your interpretation at the time, to go actually tell the story?
That's a wonderful question. My entire philosophy is that the world isn't as scary as we're all led to believe. And there's so much fear mongering, so much disaster, so much division. And I don't believe humans are as divisive or as rude as we're led to believe. So I love to go to these places. That's why I'm such a huge proponent of traveling outside of your comfort zone. Like actually travel, not like be a traveler, not a tourist in these types of countries, because you're just going to learn so much that there are no strangers. Right? The world isn't as scary as we're led to believe. And you come back with so much growth that you wouldn't get elsewhere.
So good, man. So good.
And like, I just love to share that with people, because even if you can inspire one person to go out of their comfort zone or something, I think that's a win.
Sure. Where does that stem from, like in your past? So like you and I've known of you, like we've kind of known of each other, but we finally have an opportunity to connect in person. Tell me about Jake Dobbs, like your past. Like, have you always been getting out of your comfort zone? Like has that always been a part of your identity? I
think I've always been a black sheep, and it stemmed with, I mean, there's a point in all of our lives where our parents just can't subsidize us anymore, you know? And as us three individuals, we're pretty ambitious. We like to do fun things. And at some point, mommy and daddy can't foot the bill anymore. So it kind of led to, all right, well, if I got to finance my lifestyle, what does that route look like? And that was a long battle of finding things that worked and what didn't work. I've tried every career imaginable. I went to college for a little bit, and then I tried to become an electrician, and that actually stuck with me for a little bit. I liked that. It was gratifying work with my hands, and then because that led to the route of being a contractor. And then I saw, do you know who Ian Do is? The Do Lab, by any chance, on Twitter? phenomenal dude, fascinating guy. I was best friends with his younger brother, but he was one of the pioneers of that online business space on Twitter. And I saw him post something. I was like, "What? How are you making this kind of money? What's going on here?" And he got me into the agency work, and that whole just deep dive into online business led me to financial freedom. Then I could go and do whatever I wanted. So that is kind of the genesis of it all. And I've always loved just sports and travel and like freedom. And I get inspired a lot by either strong people or great stories. And then there's, the ADHD aspect of wanting to emulate those types of people, and just kind of formulated my own style of being through travel and extreme sports.
Yeah.
Are you the first person from America to do this with the Taliban?
There's another individual named Arab who did it with the same guy. He's a really big YouTuber, very cool dude. And then I think travel to Afghanistan is going to become really popular over the next few years due to like the polarization of the country.
And what do you think it is that, I guess, the rest of the world, how they perceive them? Because I feel like they'll take the Taliban and then kind of morph it into everything that's like kind of bad in the Middle East. And it's just like thrown, like, because in the movie Lone Survivor, who was that they were fighting?
The Taliban.
Yeah. So like the media and like the way that we see it, like I watch that, I'm like, those aren't good guys.
Yeah.
And now you spend a week with the Taliban, you're like, yo, they're great guys.
Yeah.
They don't want our democracy. We're bringing democracy to them.
Yeah, it's just wild how, I guess until you experience something or spend time with people, your perception of them is just what you've been told or what you've seen.
Yep. I mean, and I said that in the video, like, I don't think anyone can really make a good judge of character of someone until you spend at least a week with them or face to face with them, have dinner with them, and actually get to know them. One of the biggest things I think people have, like we had a video, or like total view, we had like 250 million views of the fake hostage video. It went nuclear. Like, it was being covered in South Korea, Indonesia, Latin America, every major news outlet. I'm still getting emails. Like last week, someone from Australia hit me up, wanting me to go on a news thing, Canada. And I'm just like not interested in doing it anymore, because I know they're just like kind of traps. Yeah, you're gonna go on the news, and then they're just gonna make fun of you the whole time. But the main thing is like the women's rights over there is like, that's all the comments on there. Like, I don't see a single woman or this or that, and I love women, right? I'm the biggest fan of women. I'm the first to tell you, but I just they still have some things to work out with that will align with modernity. But it's really just a strict Muslim point of view on the relationship over there.
Yeah. That video. Can we show that video on the YouTube? We won't get like copyright. All right, cool. Are you gonna edit this part?
Yes.
All right, cool. If you're editing at this point, put that video up there.
What, like
the
some
hostage video?
So I'll pop it up on the screen.
Yeah,
our listeners.
And you know what was really funny about that? I think there were 6 of us in it. 5 of the people there were from California.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So the guy on the far left with the other gun in the balaclava, he was one of our guys on our trip from Canada. The 2 guys in like talking to me are from California. The only guy from Afghanistan was on the far right with the gun.
Who's the Yusuf was his name? Or
Yusuf.
He was so well spoken, such a cool dude.
He was awesome.
And he lives in Afghanistan?
Yeah. Well, he does like back and forth
now.
He's got a residency over there. He's got his whole tourism business. He's from Northern California. Awesome guy.
Yeah.
Like really, really cool
He calls the Taliban the T-Bros as well, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny. No, help me understand. How do you guys craft that video? Like, did you go into this knowing that was going to happen? Or like while you're there, as you guys get more comfortable, you're like, we're going to make a fake hostage video knowing that the shit's going to go insane?
I learned a lot about marketing from him. He's just a naturally well-spoken individual. He's great behind the camera, and that inspired me to grow up pretty quickly. And he would just come up with these little ideas on the spot. And his whole thing was, I guess it was like a narrative that we were just joking about throughout the video, because there'd be times when they would have to take our passports for security checks, and then just developed a hostage situation. And then we started posting about that on social media. And then I think he or Calvin had this idea to set up a fake hostage video that we could send to our parents as a joke.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, and it went nuclear.
How quickly? Like, when you guys posted it while you were still over there, or that was after?
No, we wanted to post everything when we got home, just to delay any sort of issues with border and entry. We still ended up getting screwed by the FBI on it. But
Yeah, you told me that story yesterday. Let's talk about that for a second. So you're on your way to Kyrgyzstan, right? So we'll talk about that as well. But you're in LAX and you get stopped by the FBI before you're headed out to Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah. So we are at the gate. We're supposed to board in like 20 minutes. And the check-in counter goes like, can Jake Dobbs, Jaden Quirum, and Vladi Bestiana. So Vladi is another very good friend of mine. He's my roommate. He didn't even go to Afghanistan, and he got called up because he was traveling with me, which I thought I felt so bad. He's like, I don't want to pull you into this disaster. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like you're just a byproduct, but he was very, very cool about it. And we get taken into the gate by 3 people individually and separated. And they start off the interact. Like we're so confused. Like what's going on? We don't have anything on us. We're not doing anything. But I'll get into this. But we had to bring $40,000 in cash to Kyrgyzstan, and that's what we thought what was the issue. And they had just found out, but we had separated all the money. This whole thing. But they're like, like why we're here, and we're like, not really. And then they just started diving into the Afghanistan stuff. But what I found really interesting about these individuals is you can tell they're so intelligent that they, I guess, dumbed down their verbiage to talk to us and relate to us on a more personal level. They were like friends. It was fascinating to see their psychological tactics work with us. But they really just wanted information. We were utterly transparent with them. Like, here's our address. Here's everything. Here's a YouTube channel. And then we kind of joked around with them. Like, do you think Trump has seen this video? And one of the ladies like, I can't explicitly tell you that, but we're pretty certain he has.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then as we were leaving, they're like, we'll see you when you come back. And we're like, what does that mean? And I didn't get stopped, but Calvin and Kale got stopped again on the way back. And then they got their... what is it called? Express entry into the United States through travel?
Global entry?
Global entry. They got it revoked.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because like you're probably going to have to like truly go through a like extra check when you go through customs every...
Yeah.
Have you accepted that you're likely going to get tracked by the FBI for the rest of your life?
Yeah. There's a you can request your file on what the FBI has on you. And so me and Kale did that because he wanted to appeal his global entry. And I was like, I'll just... what do they got on me? And so waiting for that to come in the mail.
And see still hasn't come. Okay.
Case looks like.
You obviously encourage a lot of people to take risks, right? That's part of your message of what I've observed about you is that, you're going to be the leader leading from the front of going to do all these things to encourage other people to get out of their comfort zones. What do you have to say to specifically young people that are kind of afraid to go take, travel or start that business? Yeah. What about risk taking do they need to know?
I like to think I have a pretty good level of, I guess, sensibility on the severity of something that I'm taking. It really kind of boils down to, am I going to die from this? And I think our will to survive is significantly stronger than we're ever led to believe. And I haven't had the worst things happen to me, and I'm sure plenty of other people have had crazier things, but my threshold is like, am I going to die here? Or what's the likelihood of severe injury? And 9.5 times out of 10, it's never as bad as we think the injury is going to be, or the situation is going to be, or the experience is going to be. And it's really just a matter of pushing that boundary, and you can do it at your own pace, right? And so whether it's for like a young guy and they're nervous with girls, like, it's going up to that girl and like working that muscle, or then talking to strangers, and then, maybe solo traveling next, and then going and like, hey, I'm going to start meeting some locals and see what that experience looks like. And then if you tie that into sports or your business, like you just keep pushing that threshold, you're going to realize it's all just limitations that you're putting on yourself. Mm-hmm. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no. You mentioned, so you said 9.5 times out of 10. What about that other 0.5? I mean, you skydive all the time. So like, have you ever been close to a near-death situation with the amount of high-risk stuff you do?
Skydiving. That I'm great at the most important part of skydiving is landing, and that's the thing I'm the worst at. In South Africa, I crashed into a barbed wire fence. In Florida, I've also crashed into a barbed wire fence. I've had line twists. We've had disasters happen up there. I have been pretty close to it, and it's not fun.
Can you get life insurance?
No.
I was going to say, they probably could. They probably would never even take you, right?
It's funny enough, we're actually in talks with the sponsor for a life insurance agency. The
That's
polarity
amazing.
of it we thought was hilarious.
So you go to Afghanistan, you then come back, you get stopped by the FBI on your way to Kyrgyzstan. What about Kyrgyzstan was like, hey, we need to go there? Because you mentioned that you guys traveled like the most dangerous route you possibly can.
Yeah, dude. So I had this great contact from Twitter. And that's how a lot of these things happen. So people will be like, all right, well, I have these interesting things going on in my life. Who can I share this with? Who's actually willing to do it? And they all come to me. So, and I'm very fortunate and thankful for that. But so he was from New Jersey, actually, ended up moving to Kyrgyzstan during the pandemic because he saw that country had the lowest rate of vaccination. So he's like, all right, I align with this country. They're not just going to, jab all their people. Developed a life over there, got really involved with the nomadicism culture. I mean, these people are awesome. He's like, hey, we should do a horseback trek here. And we kept delineating back and forth, like, how can we make this experience extraordinary? He's like, well, we can do the most dangerous route in Central Asia. You'll be the first Westerners to ever do it and be the largest tour group in this nation's history. We're like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, you know what I mean? That sounds great. So we took 25 people who basically had never ridden a horse in their entire life. And that trip was unbelievable. It was more of a mindset meditative thing than physical. Because I don't know if you gentlemen have ever rode horses before, but after an hour, it is the most excruciating pain you could ever imagine. And we're climbing mountains on horseback. Like 90 degrees up a mountain. Like on the first day, we couldn't believe it. It was frightening. And it was about 10 hours a day, around 60 to 70 kilometers per day. And during the day, it's very hot, so we have to be fully covered. And then at night, it gets below freezing. And we're starving, we're hungry. None of these people have rode horses before. And at one point during the trip, we thought it was an emergency expense to invest into the morality of the group and buy yurts in the middle of the frontier. I mean, like, you'll see these people like truly live nomadic lives. It was inspiring, it was beautiful, and just completely live great lives. When we bought like 4 or 5 yurts, and one of the things the next day was to teach us this game called Coke Brew, and it's the genesis of polo, but how they play it is with a goat carcass. And so they killed the goat in front of us. They did the Bismillah and all that, and they blessed it. You take the head off and take all the legs off, and you play this game where you're on horseback, and it's just like chaos. It's a brawl. Like, they're punching each other, they're hitting each other, and you have to grab this goat in between horses trampling on it and each other and put it into this other like little goal. And it gets crazy. Like, we're hitting each other, they're hitting us, and it's like a group of like 8 nomads. And we thought they were just there to teach us the game and like just have more bodies. And at one point, one of the guys just takes off with the goat. And we like, some of us are chasing. We thought there was just like a bigger playing field. Like, we didn't know what was going on. Yeah. And our guide was the only one that actually knew what was happening. He was trying to steal the goat because that's a big deal for him. That's a great dinner. And our guide chases him down on horseback with our fastest horse and beats the living shit out of him. Like completely pummels this guy. Brings the goat back, and then vibes are just pretty intense. After that, we start horseback wrestling, which is another nomadic sport where 2 guys are on horseback and you try to take each other off. It's very masculine. It was awesome. A lot of testosterone over there, and all of us are fighting, and vibes are really intense. The guys are drinking, they're yelling, and all these arguments happen. Fortunately, we just kind of got them out of there. There's no real big climax to what happened. It was just like very tense at the time, and they were getting aggressive. But we were on guard that they could come back and cause a lot of problems at night, whether they lit something on fire or tried to raid us at night. But absolutely insane experience. I mean, we got raided by nomads in Kyrgyzstan. And the funny part, we were so ignorant, we didn't even know what was happening until like towards the end.
Wait, so is that the story of you getting raided, or like what's the additional to the story of you getting raided by nomads?
That's it.
Oh, okay, got it.
That's it. I wish it was more of some Spartan standoff at some point, but I mean, there's 25 of us and there was 8 of them, so we didn't know like what was going to happen after they had left. Yeah. But fortunately, nothing happened.
You as the leader of this group, how much of a responsibility is it, like in a place that you've never even traversed before? Now you're under pressure, and like how much of a responsibility do you feel like to keep the group safe as well? I'm assuming everyone signed liability waivers.
Yeah,
but
it was the first time we've introduced liability waivers. The co-host said this is imperative on the ship because it's almost guaranteed everyone's going to get hurt and something terrible could happen. You know, all of it. You know, at the end of the day, these people. Oh, thank you. These people are spending their own money and trust in me to deliver an extraordinary experience, and I take a lot of pride in that because we have such a high success rate of transformation and or development in these individuals, whether it's through relationship or mindset or inspiration. And so, especially when we're going towards something that's dangerous, and I also have to be like a parent to all these people, it's a lot of pressure. And I take it very, very, very seriously. And I also want to make sure everyone's having a good time, most importantly.
Mm-hmm. Are you afraid of death?
Yeah, actually. The times when I have gotten very injured, I think I feel the most fragile. And I think I have so many amazing people in my life that it's more of a selfless thing. Like me, I think deep down, no, I couldn't care less. I think I'm more saddened by the fact of the impact of my loss would have on other people, and I don't want to do that to anybody.
Now, does putting yourself in life-threatening situations make you feel more alive, like while you're here?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of crazy. It's like I push the limit as close as I can to death, because in retrospect, it makes me feel more alive, like while I'm here.
Yeah, it's so silly, isn't it, man?
Well, in the moment, you have nothing other than being present. You have to be present, right?
Yes, that's what it is, man. It's. I don't think often we get the chance to live in the present moment, ever, unless like you're making a conscious effort to do that. And so it's like, I mean, there's also an aspect of like living life in my eyes. I think it's how consistent can you have fun, right? Because I mean, everyone just wants to have a good time, right? Like that's why we're working, right? We want to live a comfortable life and have fun, you know, or X, Y, we're playing sports. We're ultimately here to have fun. And for me, the most fun is close to death.
So how does that translate now that you come back to the safety of the Western world, right? You're in America. Yeah. Like you're probably not going to go to the inner city of Chicago to go get the same experience that you would in Afghanistan, right? Like, does it like kind of fry your dopamine receptors?
Oh,
having
dude,
go
I'm
through?
So glad you said that. That was the next thing I was going to say. There are extreme highs. And then the lows, it's like you go so high when you come back from a skydive or you do something crazy. It's like, I guess it makes sense why there's like adrenaline junkies out there, because then, you know, going on a walk or something or playing like basketball sometimes, you're just like, what am I doing here? This is stupid.
What do you do to regulate?
Sorry?
What do you do to regulate?
Personal growth, you know, reading, working out, playing sports. It's like, you know, if I think it boils down to competition. If you can go back into competition, it'll be pretty good.
Dude, we are so aligned. I read as like my whole life I'm like is aimed to achieve flow and flow state. And if flow state comes to me so naturally when I'm in the heat of competition. Yeah. That's why I love like paddle. Yeah. But you have no same thing as, you know, when you're in life or death situations, you're so much more present in those moments because you're just looking to win, find every which way to accomplish something, which like you could simulate that in business, but if at times it could be mundane, you're building like a lifestyle business and all these types of things. I think high intensity, high pressure situations for men are just needed.
Lives, right? I mean,
because you can find out, I think that's when you find out like who you really are. And then pressure situations or stressful situations that you thought were like this grand thing really aren't. Like sitting here right now, like I'm like trying to focus on the interview and then like making sure everything and like but like, dude, you spent a week with the fucking Taliban. You know what I'm saying? It's like you think like you're in a pressure situation until you actually get in one. Yeah. But then like even what you just said, where like go to the inner city of Chicago, right? On paper, if you ask maybe 100 people, what would be a more stressful and life-threatening situation? Week with the Taliban or week on O Block? Most people would probably say Taliban, but you would probably have a much tougher time in O Block than you would in Afghanistan. Do you ever think about doing that? Do you know Tommy G?
You know, I'm going to make a video with him.
Oh, sick.
You know, it was crazy on that hostage video. He commented when it was blown up. He goes like, oh, this guy's a stud. And I was like, I need to capitalize on this while it's in the back of his mind. And like within like minutes, I DM'd him. I was like, you're a legend, blah, blah, blah. Like, I love your stuff. And then we just started talking. We had a phone call. Dude, he is exactly like he is on YouTube on the phone. I mean, he was so inquisitive.
Yeah, that
was
works.
right. I got it. I got it.
Yeah,
Hey,
good job.
that's not my first time. Come on. On the phone, I was like, dude, no one's like, I feel like I haven't spoken to many people that are actually asking me questions and have genuine intent behind it. It was like, it's like I felt special talking to him, the way he handles himself.
Yeah.
And we're trying to bring him back to Afghanistan in the winter of 2026.
Yeah, he's like the pioneer of that.
Yeah, he's a legend, bro.
Yeah, I think I've watched some of his. He just goes to the most dangerous places,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy.
I got dropped off in O Block one time on accident, and it was the scariest. Like there was 4 drug dealers, one on each corner, and I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. I'm this big white dude wearing a $30,000 watch with luggage, and I'm like, "Am I supposed to be here?" Like I was meeting up my friend, and I texted him. I'm like, "Hey, are you sure this is where you live?" I bounced immediately. I was like, "Give me another Uber. Get me the hell out of here. Like, there's shit's about to pop off."
Yeah, dude.
So you obviously like conquered one of the. Some people say Afghanistan is the most dangerous region in the world right now.
Yeah.
Which I feel like there's got to be more dangerous
Yeah.
places.
To be honest, after going there, there wasn't full transparency. There was a lot of nervous laughter throughout the trip. You know, it just. I like to find comfort. I find solace in laughter, whether it's self-deprecating or in a bad situation. Even if there's sometimes I shouldn't laugh, that's I guess how I cope in a lot of ways. If I can find the funny in something, that's how I'm gonna go through this situation with a clear head. There was not a single time that I think that we were ever in danger, not once.
Not once.
Wow.
And even over there, their security is top notch. Like so here's a unique little situation. On I guess the first or the second night, they dropped us off outside of our hotel. And they had this big car, big Lexus, and no one has Lexuses like that out there. And they left it running and there was no one in it because they wanted to walk us up to the hotel and say goodnight. And someone got wind of that and the Taliban immediately put a jammer out. Just like for safety, if there was a bomb or something like that. So they're really on top of their stuff. I mean, like they're on the rise to being a developed country and have tourism over there. Like the last thing they want is a terrorist attack or something like that to happen, because if it happens, it's just going straight back down. Yeah. And so now after our hostage video, Yusuf spoke to me. He said, hey, every time we go back now, we're going to need a lot more security due to, we've got targets on our heads now because, you know, they don't want to see Afghanistan flourish. And right now, I guess their biggest issue is ISIS and Al-Qaeda going in, and like they'll come in through Pakistan or Iran to cause some trouble. But
those are legit terrorist organizations.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the difference between, from your interpretation, I guess, and what you've learned, the difference between the Taliban, ISIS, Al-Qaeda? Because like for us Americans, that just gets wrapped up into one. We're just like, oh, they're Muslim, they're terrorists.
Yeah.
That's it. What's the actual difference?
I mean, dude, there's a crazy rabbit hole with ISIS and Al-Qaeda actually being. Do we talk about conspiracies on this?
Yeah, they're like CIA psyops.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Like it's part of Israel and stuff like that. I mean, Taliban is just a government organization now. You know, they like to establish themselves as a government entity.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I could be completely ignorant on this, but I don't know if anybody recognizes them as a terrorist organization anymore.
Who's like the leader of the Taliban currently?
Yusuf would tell us this, they call it the Emrat, is their leader. Some sort of like religious figurehead, religious political, figurehead in Kandahar.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Would you go back if Yusuf wasn't like available for you? Like if you didn't have a tour guide, would you go back and just like stay at an Airbnb?
I like to travel with people who are from that region because I get such a significantly more unique experience. Like I don't do too much solo travel pretty much ever. I just think you'll come back with more stories if you go with someone who's from there.
Yeah, makes sense.
Take me through a day in the life with the Taliban. What does 24 hours look like?
Dude, they're super chill. I mean, a lot of picnics. Like they love like girly things. They love flowers. They love nature. They love going on walks. Like they're harmless people. Like a lot of our time was spent having these picnics in beautiful areas like a girls' day, having tea and watermelon. And then we would go to dinner. And a lot of the conversations, I mean, we had a lot of theological debates about, you know, Christianity and Islam. And I don't think at any point in history that has ever happened. In their territory, we just went to war with them, and we're there. We're wearing our crosses, and they see it. And all they're doing is like they respected us enough to talk to us. I mean, there was a couple of interesting situations where the Taliban have this position where it's like a religious enforcer. When it's time to pray and they see people not, you know, they'll go like, hey, what? They have these big sticks and they'll like hit people. Like, what's your deal, man? Like, why aren't you praying? And we sat down to lunch with them, 3 of them. And one of the guys tells us, you know, it's such a shame that you guys aren't, that it's a shame that you guys are going to hell because, you know, you don't believe in Islam. And, you know, my buddy Colton, this guy's awesome, dude. Colton is a superstar, really smart dude from Canada, devout Catholic. And he goes, don't translate this, but just for like your guys' understanding, you and Yusuf's understanding, because Imran was his like co-host, you know, we believe the same thing, that, you know, they're going to hell for not believing in Jesus Christ. And within seconds, he translates it. And he tells these guys who are loaded to the gills with guns that we think they're going to hell. And we're like, dude, this is it. And, you know, but it ended up being fine. I don't really know what he translated in Pashto, but we're alive, so not too bad, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, well, I think there's also a mutual respect of somebody that's willing to die for their cause, right? Yeah. Like we can all level set as humans where it's like, even though we disagree, we fundamentally are secure in what we believe in.
Yeah.
And there's like that level set. And I think it's important when you get into conversations with people that are on the relative polar opposite side of you, you can find common ground before you find disagreement, so that there's a mutual respect prior to it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's actually something I learned from one of my good friends who's Muslim. Some of the most tolerant people I've ever met are Muslim, and some of the worst people I've ever met are Christian. Literally, like it's like, because there's a lot of virtue signaling that goes on in the West, where people aren't even like actually abiding by the actual faith, but they think they are, and they're just, everyone's virtue signaling, like I'm holier than thou and I'm better than you.
Yes,
and you don't see that much in the other cultures, because everyone's kind of like slowed down, optimized for quality of life. Yeah, it's really interesting, man. What's next? So like, conquered Afghanistan.
We did a tour in Afghanistan.
Yeah. You did a tour in Afghanistan. You're basically the president there now. What's next? Like, are you looking for something more dangerous, more quote unquote clickbaity to go to?
It's funny you said that. We didn't want our brain to turn into just going to dangerous places. Because I think a lot of those creators, and no disrespect to them whatsoever, it just doesn't align with me. I think a lot of times like they go there and it's more so like, hey, look at me, and then look at all these people. I don't know. It's whatever. We thought Afghanistan was a unique experience, and we took advantage of that and had a great time. But it's not going to be this thing where like, I'm going to go to the favelas of Brazil and what is this like? It's just not, I'm not interested in that in the slightest. I don't want to think journalism is what I do. I like to showcase the world and have fun and make money doing that.
Yeah.
But we have this really fascinating whiteboard that Vladi put together for us. It's called The Machine, The Hunt, and I forgot the last part. It's divided into 3 segments. One is like active things that we're working on. The other one is like inspiration, or no, it's like what we're working on, individually what we're working on, and then the bottom one are like massive goals of ours, like unattainable goals. And I think a really unique aspect on that is inspiration, because we want to start getting involved with governments. Like we want to get diplomat passports. We want to get involved with tourism. Like we can really showcase a unique part of your country that I don't think corporate governments can show, and we can lead a lot of tourism for that. So that's a big one. We're going to break world records, a skydiving one. We just want to do crazy things like that, and we draw a lot of our inspiration from that board, whether it's just random ideas. Like, hey, what if we skydived out of a Black Hawk helicopter? Like, you know, and then what does that process look like to making that happen? So we have this whole board, like getting on Joe Rogan's podcast, smoking a cigar in the White House, like all these sort of things that we write. But the unique thing about pen to paper, or I guess marker to whiteboard, is, and I'm sure you relate heavily to this, and both of you guys as very successful entrepreneurs and content creators, if you write something down, it materializes whether you want it to or not. It's a really fascinating just thing that happens. And we're walking by it every day. We see it every single day. So whether consciously or subconsciously, like that idea is there.
Yep. That's it's huge. And it's something I've learned is a lot of discernment about being very careful about what you write down. Because if you accept the fact that it's going to happen, make damn sure that it's something you actually want to happen.
Yeah.
Because oh, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. You know what's wild is that we wrote down the Afghanistan thing a year ago, not even having any idea that this was going to happen. It happened. I mean, it gave me chills when I put two and two together, and I think I took a picture of it on the whiteboard. It was Afghanistan with Lord Miles, if you know who that is. No. Some big Twitter British guy who like went over there, and he was kind of the first that actually did that experience in Afghanistan a while ago. And we're like, oh, that'd be cool to do it with him. And we wrote down Afghanistan, and it ended up happening.
It's I think it's our job to figure out the what and let God figure out the how. Yeah. Right? If I could get very clear on what I'm looking to accomplish, and it could feel impossible in the moment, let everything else play itself out the second that you declare it.
Yeah.
Because I subscribe to quantum physics, and I'm not 100% certain how quantum works, which no one is.
Yeah.
But I think quantum is also like the science of confirming the spirit. So it's like the science of actually how God's laws work. And by writing it down, you're essentially like already living in the future. Yeah. And so time's just kind of catching up to it. So the second that I write something down, it's already happened.
Yeah.
It's I can't go much deeper than that, but I do intuitively subscribe to that. It's wild, man.
Yeah.
What's in it for you? So like, help me understand like what provides you the most joy and excitement. And before you answer that, Ella, could you possibly get me a Zevia by any chance? Thank you.
What's in it for me? I don't think I've ever had that conversation with myself. Experience. I really, really, really value experiences and memories and creating memories. They're one of the few things that I think are invaluable. Our experiences, memories, because it can, if you do it with people, right, you can impact their lives, or if you do it as a story, you can inspire somebody, and then also just like fulfillment on it, development, growth. I love chasing experiences.
Go deeper. Why? What about experiences? So like it's awesome.
Yeah,
but
no, you're right. I don't think
search.
I've ever had this type of conversation with myself. The why behind it. Part of it is bravado. Just as competitive men, there's always an aspect of ego in these types of things. Here's some semblance of a route. There's a level of inadequacy in my mind if I cannot do something. And I ultimately want to be the best provider I possibly can. And I think experience teaches that the most. Whether it's like breaking a tire, right? Or popping a tire or whatever, and like learning how to change that. Mm-hmm. Through that experience, I could help someone in need or something like that. Or, let's say an emergency happened on Kyrgyzstan. I wish I had first aid training. And I get these pathways to new growth because of experiences.
It seems like you're gamifying life.
Yeah.
Right? It's like hey, let me go acquire those skills. It's almost like you're in like a role-playing game.
Yeah.
And you have to level up, unlock new skills to get to the next level. Do you ever see it that way?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And I've seen that narrative so many times. I don't think I've fully connected it to myself, even though it's exactly what it is. I mean, we got to call a spade here. Yeah. It's true. I don't think anything is unattainable. Like, it's just like not in my mind of a failure, or if I want something, it's just going to happen, and I'll fixate on it till it happens. And it's a blessing and a curse, and I'm sure you guys know people like that, or even in your own lives. It's just, I think that's what separates winners and losers. You have to be utterly obsessed with something. Otherwise, just go fucking kick tires then, dude. Like, You know what I mean? Like, if you're not obsessed with something, there is no point in life, to be honest with me. Or to be honest with me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because it gives you so many, I tell myself that. A lot of this is projection at this point, huh? No, it gives you purpose. And I had this great conversation with a really good friend of mine who I'd love to connect you with. He's in Tampa. He's an awesome guy. His name is Braxton. And he was asking, like, what are you doing like these days? And I said, all we're doing is waking up, ideating for YouTube videos and working on the YouTube videos. We'll play some Super Smash Bros. And then go to bed. And we have this awesome like little startup vibe in the apartment. And he goes like, what a blessing it is to have a mission and that's all you do. Like, it's true. It's like, there's not a single other thing I'd rather be doing than this right now.
That's so good, man. Cause like, I look at things like burnout, right? Cause it's a form of entrepreneurship, right? Yeah. Creating all these types of things. And we'll talk about that side in a sec, but every time I get burnt out, it's because I'm not fully aligned with the mission, or maybe the mission was wrong. Yeah. Because I have to imagine that like, while there's some mundane things, like you probably can do this for hours and hours, for unextended periods, because you believe in the mission so much and you're so excited about what you're doing. Does it ever feel like work, or is it just, you know?
No, dude. And we always have those pinch me moments. Like even these retreats, dude, like I get paid to travel the world. Like that's a dream. And I'm thankful for it every single day. Or either like we're creating these stories or these memory, like we're a memory factory for individuals and ourselves. And, you know, and I'm doing it with such great people as well. There's not a single misalignment in personality or friendship. And like, we're all such unique chess pieces that it works so fluidly, and I'm very thankful for it. And it didn't happen overnight. And I know you guys have very similar situations to that. I mean, you know, it's like you work 10 years for an overnight success. I mean, I've had so much pain and difficulty starting this movement and actually making it something sustainable. You know, and we finally have everything in place.
So good, man. Yeah.
What is I guess what's something you took? What was there anything you took like culturally or something that you learned with spending time with them, with the Taliban, that you didn't maybe even recognize in yourself, or that something that you took from them or learned from them and then like implemented it in your life? Was there anything that you took from them?
Taking religion more seriously. I had always been a Christian, but it was very secular. And after seeing like the experience with them and seeing how they live their lives within, and especially after seeing what happened with Charlie Kirk, it was time to stop being that way. I learned so much about Islam, as a sidetrack. You know, everything we're told were these people were animals, you know, just beasts. And getting, I guess, intimately involved with that experience, you know, you learned so much. It's not what you think, or X, Y, and Z. It's not this, it's not that. And like they just want peace. Like all they want over there is peace and to pray. That's all they want to do. That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
And is everyone the same? Like is like everyone, because like you said how strict they are.
That's a good question.
Do they have some bad apples?
Yeah, of course. Their thing that Yusuf would I guess warn us about is if some, like there was this one point, dude, we were at Kabul's biggest tourist monument. It's this huge flag on top of the hill, and this was the only time in the trip where I actually didn't feel comfortable, because what happens over there is like there's not many women in the streets at all, but crowds of people will form around you because like they don't see Americans anymore, right? And then we're not in uniform or anything like that. And so they'll crowd around us in areas. And I don't like crowds forming around me, especially like crowds of men. And like they're fierce looking as well. They have a really strong gaze. They always kind of look at you with like contempt. And I didn't like that. Even though, and you'll hit them with a salam and then like, oh. But at that monument, we got surrounded by maybe like 70 men. And it was called a green zone. And that means it's only Taliban there, and they're all carrying weapons. And we're surrounded by 70 people because we got on this like news station. It was insane. And there was a couple guys who were like yelling like, "Oh, fuck the Americans!" Like send them back. And Imran started yelling back at them. So vibes got a little tense. And then at one point when we were trying to leave, that another crowd formed around us. Like no matter where we went, there was crowds of men around us, and I hated it. And at one point, I remember in the crowd, there was a guy behind us, like holding like a Bowie knife, and he was like looking at me with like a lot of angst. And I was like, there's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? I got nothing. Like I am in a hot zone right now. And I was really nervous about that, but I guess he was just flexing his knife or something. But to get to your point, what he would warn us about is that there are a few bad apples, and he would just describe them as people who are uneducated on like new times.
Right. Sure. Was at any point did you ever think about like, hey, why don't I just grow out my beard because I'm wearing all this stuff, so like I can make myself look more Muslim?
Yeah, we had to. Grow out as much facial hair as we could. I couldn't. I can't really grow a great beard like yourself.
Oh, thanks.
But hopefully one of these days I'd like to. But I did what I could with a goatee.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like, if I'm going, let me just go get as tan as possible. Yeah. I can probably pass.
No. So dude, yeah, I'm so glad you said that. We actually blended in. Yeah. Believe it or not, they have so much ethnic diversity over there. Like Afghan is such a, like the Afghan look is such a melting pot because there's another region in the north called Nudistan, and they're all white because back in the day, that's when Alexander the Great was over there. And then where we were by that big blue lake, I forgot the region starts with the B, Bamyan, they all look like Kyrgyz or Mongolian because of Genghis Khan was over there. And then other part, it was such a diverse melting pot. When we had everything on, we were set. It was only a huge issue when they would hear us speak and they were like, all right, these guys are American, when we didn't have the Afghan clothes to start. Got it.
And how much of a Russian influence is over there as well? Because I don't quote me on this, but I could have sworn like we basically in the beginning were fighting a war with Russia through Afghanistan.
Yes,
right?
That was the timeline. It was Russia and Afghanistan, and we supplied Afghanistan. Then they had a civil war, and then we went to war with Afghanistan with the weapons and vehicles that we supplied them.
Got it.
In terms of a Russian influence, I think non-existent. I could be wrong on that as well. But did you ever see that part where we were like on those tanks that were painted?
Yeah.
Those were all Russian tanks.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. Those people they would sit in those. Those are tight tanks, man.
It was tiny. And I couldn't imagine like what that was like.
It's crazy, man.
Did they mention anything about? Have you seen War Dogs?
Of course. I actually know David Packhouse.
I do too.
No way.
I interviewed him.
No way. I had him on an IO meeting as well.
Really?
Yeah. I wanted to get into government contracting actually.
Yeah, he's dope. Yeah, I interviewed him in Miami.
Yeah.
He came down to Miami.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I asked him about the triangle of death situation.
Yeah.
And I was like, was that real?
What is that? Let's pause for a second. What's the triangle of death?
It's in Afghanistan. Isn't it like the road to Kyrgyzstan?
Yeah.
When you're traveling between Afghanistan and Kyrgyzstan.
There's like this,
don't ask me.
It's like literally
it's a triangle of just like death everywhere.
Yeah, like there's people like bad guys just kind of patrolling that area, and anyone who's coming through there, you're getting checked.
Yeah, you're just free game.
So in the movie War Dogs, they made it seem like Miles Teller and Jonah Hill drove with this random guy.
That was like the 50-50.
Yeah. So David Packhouse never actually did that. That story wasn't true, but the guy who helped write the movie actually did that.
Wow.
So that part was real. So that's how the idea got implemented into the movie.
Interesting, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't know too much about that when I was over there. The only notable route we took, we were on the Silk Road, or like the start of the Silk Road, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Explain for anyone that hasn't heard of the Silk Road.
The largest trade route, I believe, in history.
Maybe.
Sounds accurate.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
Yeah, but yeah, that I guess I don't know. Did you ever, all right, so you go into it, right? And you're nervous, and then you realize like, they're good people, right? And like, I'm really not that worried outside of that group gathering where the guy with the knife. But you said you like putting yourself like in these moments. Was there ever a moment on this week where you were like, I kind of want to like go into like maybe a little bit more of a dangerous situation?
Yeah, we got a little bit more pimp in our lean towards the end of it. A little bit more comfortable, like navigate. Like there was at one point when we were going through the markets, like they had us lead the way back to the car, which felt pretty cool. Yeah, there was a couple times where we were like, can we shoot these guns, or we want to meet more. They call them freedom fighters over there, and talk to them. We really wanted to have seen a gun market. I don't think we were able to because we're not Taliban. But yeah, there definitely was.
Yeah,
there definitely was.
Did they ask for the video for like a revision before you posted it? Was there anything they were like, yo, you can't put this in?
No. One of the requests of the Taliban was just don't put music over them. So they have this thing over. Are you familiar with what what a nasheed is?
No.
It's so a devout Muslim isn't allowed to listen to music.
Yep. Continue.
And anytime that we had Afghan people in it, we would put in a sheet over them in the video. So it was respect. Like we weren't gonna put
Yeah.
a crazy EDM song over
Yeah.
them and just like outright disrespect them after they told us like.
Yeah.
So what's a nasheed?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's you know what hymns are, right?
Yeah. So it's more like poems, like
exactly.
like psalms.
So that's
right,
what they do over there. Are
because
they
the
do
Quran,
poetry.
the Quran was written.
Yeah.
It was spoken.
Yeah.
Right. So like most people, don't quote me on this, but from what I've learned from people, the Quran was it's the only one of the only books, religious text that's never been lost in translation. It's been perfectly preserved since whenever it was made in 15 or 1600. But it was because most people memorize it because it rhymes. It's a poem.
Yeah.
Through speak.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of Americans that
know
can
that.
pretty much sing the entire Quran.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they do poetry. That's their thing. There was one time we were leaving this dinner, and this guy's like, "Can we do some poetry for you?" We're like, "Sure."
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I just found that out that the devout Muslims can't listen to music in a pretty like crazy situation. I got booked to film Khabib.
No way.
Yeah,
Congrats,
Khabib
bro.
Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
So he was speaking in Hempstead in Long Island, having an event, and he came to this new restaurant. It was like a Muslim restaurant, all halal, whatever.
Cool.
And he brought his whole team there, his brother, everyone's there, his coach, manager, and they did a fire show, right? And they just ordered food. The guy's doing all of it. The girl like plays like, that song, like, it's like a Latin song. It was like Mark Anthony or something like that. Khabib got up and walked out.
Yeah. Love that.
And they were like, what happened? And they were like, the manager was like, you fucking idiot. You can't play music.
Yeah.
And Khabib was like, thank you. Didn't even eat the food and walked out the restaurant.
So what
Damn,
does he
a
do
bummer
at the
though,
UFC events?
It's work. So that's what I learned. If it's for work, it's okay.
Yeah, it was another funny situation we had. We were leaving Bamyan, and it was a 4-hour ride back, but it was more like 6 because we were going through these terrible roads. I mean, dude, some of the roads we had where there were breaks in the road, and that's where IEDs were. Like literal IEDs from the US, and
Wow.
it was cool to kind of go over it and like, wow, now we're here and we're driving over it. On the way back, we had just been music fasting. We're like, can we just come on, let's put on some JB or like Adele or something. And the co-host was like, oh, I love Adele. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
So you're just singing like, never mind.
Dude, it was crazy. We were just in this car blasting music. But the point of it is when they were delineating between each other, they're like, are you sure? And we're like, hey, we don't want to disrespect or anything. One of the guys like, it'll be on me, I guess. It's like, I'm sinning. And so Yusuf, I guess, was free of any guilt.
Got it. Interesting. I'm thinking that would have been such a good video. It's like, when you tell your girl you're out with the boys and she thinks like you're doing some crazy shit and you're in the car singing Adele with the Taliban.
It's pretty good.
Oh, but you guys got to record that type of that. That's my first thought of what could go viral.
Amazing.
Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll flop. But any other questions about Afghanistan? I don't want to exhaust you over the Afghanistan thing. I don't want to just make you the Afghanistan guy, but it's been a relative recent thing. That's
I think this is the first time I've ever openly discussed about it as well. So that's
what haven't we asked you that we should have, or any specific stories or experiences that you feel like are notable that aren't in the YouTube video?
I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, now I want to learn about Jake Dobbs.
Cool.
Jake Youngblood, or however.
Yeah, you got it. You got
that's
it.
Your middle name's Youngblood.
It's real.
Real.
It's real.
It's pretty cool.
Didn't
It's legal.
change it. Real.
Nope, it's legal. Born
That's
with it.
pretty dope. That's pretty dope. It suits you pretty well, man.
Thank you.
And take that as a compliment.
No, absolutely. I love it.
Tell me the Jake Dobbs story, man. Like, give me the high level. Like, if we need to flip to a chapter in your life where there was like a relative catalyst, a momentum shift for you, where everything changed for you, what was that moment?
A lot of my like career journey stemmed from attempting things that didn't work out, and I think the most notable thing from it was just like, I guess the willpower to keep trying new things, because I would get heavily involved with something and then it wouldn't work out, or otherwise I'd get fascinated by something else and pivot. Just kind of trying to find something that finally stuck with me. And I think it, like, at the end of the day, I don't even know how to put this. I'm not I'm not a traditional entrepreneur that I think that everyone is leaning towards in today. And it was just kind of being in that environment and trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It wasn't me. I just couldn't see, like, okay, so I used to have like a private equity firm where I bought underperforming e-com brands, scaled them and sold them, like kind of like real estate. Got to the point where I'm like, dude, I can't do this for the rest of my life. Like, I hate this. I hate making ads. I hate doing TikToks. I hate every single bit of this. But what I did like was that there was a brand that I had. And so I had to dissect, like, what does that look like? And it finally led me to being like my own personal brand and having the Irrational Optimism community that gave me so much fulfillment. But yeah, it was just trying so many different things.
Yeah, you strike me as more of like an artist.
Yeah,
where you like to be free, but that there's also like there's a business model behind it.
Yeah,
but you're not fully an operator.
Yes, yeah. I'm not. That's not me, and I just need to say it for the record. I'm not an operator. I'm certainly capable of it, and I'm not denigrating myself. But it's not what I align with. I can't do it.
That's great, man. I think the process of becoming is the process of elimination, right? So like, in order for you to have gotten and understood where you are, you had to have gone through that.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you needed to, we all need to put our hand on the stove at some point to identify what it is we don't want in our lives. So tell us about Irrational Optimism. What is that? Dude,
it's my life's purpose. It's my journey. I'm very, very grateful and fortunate to have found it at such a young age because as we talked about last time, the ultimate goal is to start a new country. And it's like, what are the steps to do there? But ultimately, it's a community for like-minded individuals that have a calling for more in their life. And a lot of it is the mindset. I think the mindset of Irrational Optimism kind of coincides with obsession, whatever it is in your life. But the difficulty is, I think a lot of us lack real, genuine relationships. And it's like we want to be that nucleus of genuine relationships. You know, that's kind of the oversight of everything. And we do adventure retreats that through group psychology and experience bonds these people organically to take them to the next level in their own life, like without us even like, this is what's going to happen to you.
Sure. What's the average demographic of people that are in the group?
Dude, we mixed, super mixed, dude. What we like this last trip, there was maybe 40 or 50% American. The rest were European. We had another guy from Canada. Like, we all over.
Mainly young people?
Oh, nope. 18 to 40 was on Kyrgyzstan.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Really cool.
Yeah.
So you'll find this funny. So last night we're talking about books. So we're like we're just going back and forth on like book recommendations and all this stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a new country. So I'm like, I'm looking up Google like how to make a new country. And I can't find it. It was like, dude, like what book are you talking? He's like, no, I'm going to make a new country. That's like his goal is to start a new country. Oh. So your goal is to start a new country.
Yeah.
Where did that originate from and how are you obtaining that?
Dude, I think so it was what we were talking about last night. If you don't have just an outrageous goal, well, what are you doing then?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So at some point innately, I just kind of, it inspired me. So there's a person out there who started this thing called Praxis and they're actually doing it. And if I know someone else can do something, I can do it better. It's just like it's the competitive spirit that we were talking about with sports and growing up. Like if this person can do it, I can do it better.
That's how innovation happens.
Yep. Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, that's fucking nuts. Like I want to do something like that, but I know I can do it better because I have a better message. I have a stronger community, and then I have better morals, in my opinion. And it's like, all right, well, what are the routes to doing that? You know, and what are the steps you need to take that? And right now we're at, a very, very early start of it, but we need to have traffic. We need to have like, why would someone invest for us? You're a nobody. Now I'm a nobody, right? Cool. You have like 13,000 on YouTube. That's nothing, so I need to grow a substantial following. I need to get connected to even more powerful people. I need to formulate this idea more. And like the steps of that is like, all right, well, let's start buying houses internationally for people in the community. Hey, you want to live in a place where your roommate or roommates are going to be exceptional people, high achieving individuals or ambitious people with, a good moral compass? Yeah, I would pay to live with that without having to delineate or worry about what that's going to be like. And we would have those houses. Then let's say that grows really well. And then we start buying compounds, start building land. And like here, people are starting to have kids. There's like a community here. And it's like, all right, let's get to a point where it's over flourishing and let's start a new country. But I think that I still love the United States. I still think it's the greatest place in the entire world too. So I got to figure out like what that would look like in that attempt to start something else.
What's the logistics to starting a new country? Like, do you see it as like you want to buy an island and start it there, or like is it like the Vatican, which is like 1 square mile?
Yeah, that something like that. I have thought about it and I quickly wrote off because it just seems kind of lame.
Yeah,
they're just like land within somewhere and it's like a country. There's a lot of people places in Latin America that do that, like their own sovereign state. I think that's pretty lame.
It's not novel enough.
Yeah, exactly. I think an island makes the most sense.
Really cool.
Do you think it's achievable in your lifetime?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if this guy can do it in a couple of years, right, and raise, like, it's just all a matter of relations.
What are you going to name your country?
Ionia.
Ionia. I like that. Where does that stem from?
It's just IO and then NIA. Like irrational optimism, Ionia.
I was like, wait, so IO-NIA, that just makes sense out of nowhere.
It's like Iona, the college.
Yeah.
I love it. Ionia. Okay, cool. What's the country going to be about? Like, what's the attractiveness for me to move to your country?
It has to do with the style of living that
Okay.
I think that I think the style of living that's pretty much showcased in a lot of places outside of nomadicism is what it's going to be predicated on. Sustainable living, like more like homestead-ish style, but with, some dabs of modernity and tech.
Sick.
Are you gonna have a government?
I'm gonna be a dictator. We're gonna have to have a painting of me in all of their houses.
Capitalism, socialism, or communism?
No, I haven't thought too much about that. It's just like it's so further down the line that I feel like it would be a waste of time.
Kim Jong Youngblood.
Yeah. Funny enough, I'm glad you said that. Him and I share the same birthday. Me and the Supreme Leader.
Yes. Now you got to do a trip to North Korea.
I think so. I think that would be like the last place that we would go. I don't think we've thought about this too. We thought like Afghanistan is the last crazy thing that we could do. And then it's like, all right, well, like North Korea is the next.
It's the final boss, it might be.
Truly.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest place to get to.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you got to Kim.
Yeah, I don't think I would host a retreat. I wouldn't like have people pay me and then I would hold the liability of them in North Korea. There's just no way.
Sure.
I do want to go to Russia. Russia really, really intrigues me. From what I've seen, it seems like paradise.
Is it easy for us to go to Russia with an American passport?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems really
Just get
cool.
a visa. I almost got, I should have been there last June, but just timing didn't work out.
Got it.
It's crazy.
Would you
just
go
so
to
much-
Afghanistan?
No, absolutely
There's just
not.
so much to see, dude, and that's what excites me.
Yeah.
There's so much different culture, so many different, like, I love not knowing things. And then, like, I'll be in South Africa, it's like, dude, this is, like, what we're doing over here. And it's like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Like,
What's
tell me
up with
more.
South Africa? That's the next retreat, right?
Yeah, dude, that is my favorite country of all time as of today. Like, they are so fascinating. And the really unique thing about it over there is that they're surrounded by a group of people that want to kill them and despise them openly, publicly. And their appreciation for life, they live so presently. And I think that's a byproduct of living in dangerous areas. The people are always better. The food is always better. The fun is just 10 times more because you're in a dangerous area. I really think that has to do with danger because you're forced to live in the moment. You're like, you don't know what's going to happen the next day. And they all embody that. They're all very strong individuals. Dude, it's just like Drew, my buddy over there, amazing guy as well. He'd always be like, welcome to the jungle. It's lawless out here.
Who are they surrounded by that want to kill them?
The black individuals over there.
Got it. Because like South Africans are primarily white, right? Because it's a lot
Well, no,
of
they're
British
actually
influence.
a very small percentage. The reasoning we think is due to the Anglo-Saxon War. They killed each other. It would have been a completely different demographic over there. But the thing with South Africa, it's reverse racism. So dark-skinned individuals over there hate white people and mixed race as well. But they control all of South Africa. I mean, there's so many crazy rules that they're passing out there. The government is allowed to just legally take land from farmers, and it's insane. And everyone over there knows someone that's either been killed or unfortunately raped, kidnapped, due to them just being a target.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
is it considered any genocide or at all? Or
Yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. They hate the white and mixed people.
Was that going on during the World Cup too? Because I know they hosted in 2008.
Oh yeah. It's still
been a thing
going
for a
on.
while.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Are you
wild.
familiar with Rhodesia?
Yeah, I've heard of Rhodesia before. I think.
It was what Zimbabwe is now. And
Yeah.
It's basically what happened over there. They're anticipating the similar outcome of Rhodesia to happen to South Africa, which is it's a shame because it's a beautiful area.
That's fucked. And you're going.
Yes.
And you're going.
I loved it. I went last February as well to like do the retreat route with him, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
Do you fear for your safety?
Yeah. There's that place, like I would be more fearful than Afghanistan.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I heard it's beautiful.
Oh, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What's like the most dangerous place or group of people that you would be interested in spending a week with? Like if you were really pushing the needle.
You know what's interesting? I actually just got invited to meet with these Burmese guerrilla fighters. Wow. Yeah.
Was that like in the jungle?
Yeah.
Would you would you ever do an uncontacted tribe?
That's what we're doing that as well.
That interests me the most out of any of it.
Yeah. We're gonna be with one in Vietnam.
Dude, you should try to get with the Paul Rosali dude.
Who's that?
He's from New York, but he went down to South America and he's saving the rainforest.
You know you guys want to know some inside lore that no one knows about that I just learned? There is a completely Amish settlement in the Amazon rainforest. All white people, completely Amish, living sustainably, and have this huge community in the Amazon rainforest. Wow. Nobody knows this, and we're gonna go visit them.
How did you know this?
I got told this by someone who knows someone in there.
And you're gonna go visit?
Yeah.
And put it on YouTube?
Yeah.
Sick. So now everyone's gonna know it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dude, I love it. So like, I'm assuming you're very conscious about how you're going about building your brand, because this is where all these opportunities come from.
It's really tough because it's like, this is stuff we would do without a camera, right? It just excites us. It's interesting, but it's very difficult for us to find a niche. Who are we? Do we go and do like crazy things? Or are we doing adventures? Or are we doing like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's like, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. We're unapologetically ourselves, and we want to go explore the world. Wow. And just like, but I guess the overarching emphasis kind of ties back into rational optimism. Is like, there are no strangers. Let's go out and check out these people in Amish land in the Amazon rainforest. Like, and I'm sure they're going to welcome us. It'll be a fascinating experience.
I think it's important to like not have to be committed to a niche, right? It's like, it doesn't always have to be about what's the most profitable niche that we have to go through. Cause like what I'm hearing is like, oh, are you like Yes Theory, or you're like Tommy G, or what? Like, who gives a shit? You guys are irrational optimists. You're a class of your own.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that. It actually just reignited a conversation I had with Vladi, my roommate. I think a lot of people shoot themselves in the foot by categorizing themselves into a niche. Hey, I'm just travel food. It's like, all right, well, you can't do anything else now, And I think you really limit yourself if you do that.
It's tough. It's a tough dichotomy to manage, right? Because like, depending on what the actual vision and the goal is, if you're looking truly for business scale, it's important to have to like make sure that you cut out things that you're not at the same time. But then also, if you're looking to optimize for, quality of life at the same time, because it looks like you guys are really like, you're living your life and getting paid for it, but it's like you're okay with it not being $1 billion brand, what's up? Yes. Okay. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's where one of my questions is like, how motivated are you by money and the economic side of it?
I think I share a very similar philosophy to you with money. I think it's, you take what you need for yourself and then some, but other than that, I couldn't give less of a shit. But, then there's another side where like, I think it's very necessary that we have a ton of money, because I think our only limiting factor is money. And if we had a significant abundance of it, we can do crazier things. We can bless more people. We can do X, Y, and Z. We can, start a philanthropy division of Irrational Optimism. I want to build a school at some point, so there's so many things that money is a blessing for. So in a lot of ways, it's a huge driving factor. It's imperative that we have a lot of money, because I firmly believe if I had millions and millions and millions of dollars, I could multiply it and change the world with that. Yeah. And that's what drives me towards it.
So good, man. Couldn't agree more.
But but you're not going to see me spending, like a jerk. Yeah. You're just not, but I did have that phase when I was in Miami. I was spending $30,000. I remember looking at my bank account at one point I was like, what am I doing, dude? And I looked at the statement. It was like $22,000 one month. I bought a G-Wagon, I bought a motorcycle, I was getting tattoos, I was clubbing. I'm like, this is like, what am I doing here? I remember like sitting in the G-Wagon at one point. It's like, I'm just some jackass in a metal vehicle that's doing the same thing as everyone else. And one of the first things I ever bought when I got into business was this 1999 classic Jeep Cherokee, and I still have it. It's my main form of transportation now. It's like, that car is so much cooler than what I'm driving. Everyone has one. It's not cool. I didn't even do the taxes right because I don't know what I was doing with taxes back then. It wasn't even a write-off for me. So I fucked all that up, and I'm like, I'm spending so much money. I was like, what am I doing? And I have this like paid off car, classic car, give it some TLC, and it's way cooler. And to this day, it gets more compliments. Not that I give a shit about them, but and that car means a lot to me. And I think there are very few materialistic items that I can actually care about, and that car is one of them.
I think that's why I respect you so much and respect people who have taken the time to define their own version of success. People that are so secure in what actually makes them joyful instead of borrowing everyone else's version and just trying to be a better version of the same. A better version of the same is still the same.
Yeah.
It's just a better version of shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, why don't we go become a class of our own and be authentically ourselves?
Yeah.
Even if people don't like it, at least I know I'm secure in what I'm doing. And I think it comes with the trials and tribulations of not living that way for a little bit and putting your hand on the stove and immediately having a feedback loop of saying, this isn't the way I want to live. I can actually change this.
Yeah.
I don't have to continue this damn cycle of going out clubbing every week, spending money for no reason just to keep up with the Joneses when, especially in a world like Miami, there's always people making more money, spending more money. You're not going to keep up. You're going to go broke eventually if you keep doing that shit, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a very hedonistic style of living.
Yeah.
It's demonic, and I think in a lot of senses, especially Miami as a city we can all agree on. It's like the new Sin City, bro. Like, there's nothing good happening over there.
Yeah.
And we can spin it whatever we want. There's good clubs, there are good groups of people and good things. But at the end of the day, I mean, they're just self-medicating as well.
Yep. The energy is the energy of that city is rooted in.
It's like, you don't land in Miami and be like, oh, thank God. You know, I'm home.
I actually, funny enough, I felt that way about Ibiza when I first went there.
Really?
And then I went back to Ibiza last month to stay for a week with one of my clients, and he's awesome. And I got to experience the other side of it where like I didn't go to just a party at these awesome clubs and stuff. And incredible.
Really? I have such a weird reservation with Ibiza. I've vowed to never go there, but it just gives me a bad taste. I don't know why.
Come with me one time.
Cool, I'd love to.
Yeah, he's got a paddle court, so we'll go rip some paddle.
All right, I'm sold. Sold.
Go ahead. You ask a question. I gotta go piss.
Ask a question. No, yeah, I kind of what you guys were just saying. I just felt that way I went to like Fashion Week in Soho. Cool. You know, I mean, just like bouncing around.
Yeah.
But I was just like looking at everyone, and like, one, now like Fashion Week is like who can just dress the fucking weirdest and like look as stupid as possible. But I'm just looking at all these people that all look the same.
Yeah.
They all look ridiculous. And I was like talking to my boy, and like we're walking around with like this is my boy's clothing brand. Like this is his shirt.
I was gonna say I really liked it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll try to get you some shit. I'll tell him to send you some stuff. Yeah,
I'd love that. I'm happy to buy too. Always happy to support.
Yeah, bro. And me and him are just walking around like this, shorts, t-shirt, and like we're sticking out like sore thumbs. And me and him are just talking. I'm just like, do these people actually want to wear this stuff or look this way, or are they just doing it because they think it's cool, or they saw someone that was successful do it, so now I have to wear this like ridiculous jacket and glasses with no freaking lenses in them, and it just looks so stupid. But that's like majority of society.
Yeah,
it's like I'm just gonna do what everyone else thinks is cool, and I'm gonna do everything that society tells me is hip and culturally right now, but you don't even know if you actually like it.
I think that's what's so important about what you guys do, you and Antonio do. You awaken people.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta like open levels of thought and question to individuals. Even if it's something they completely disagree with, that thought is still in there. As long you guys planting seeds is so incredibly important. You guys do such a great job at it. I think that's what they need.
Yeah.
Right? And like unfortunately there's a lot of regular people, right? And not that necessarily a bad thing, society needs that, but for the right individuals that need that spark of curiosity or interest, you could change their complete life. Like, why the fuck am I doing this? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it comes with probing the right questions.
Yeah.
Right. The more
Yeah.
you rise as a leader, the better you get at asking questions.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to change someone by telling them to change. You're going to change them by asking enough questions to where they realize they need to change.
Yeah.
Because the catalyst only comes from within.
Yeah.
I would give yourself a lot of credit there too, man. I appreciate the credit, but you're an incredible human, man. I've been following you for some time, and
That means a lot.
I initially, like, very transparent. I'm just gonna be very vulnerable. The Youngblood, when I saw Jake Youngblood, I saw that was like Jake Youngblood. That I was like, he seems like one of those Miami guys, because I started following you. And I was like Youngblood. He's probably like trying to be like a rapper name or something. I didn't know that your name was Youngblood. But dude, getting to know you in like, I think we've met for 12 hours now or something. Like, I can already feel like there's a brotherhood cultivated.
Dude, same.
It's
absolutely same.
It's been awesome, man. How can like we or other people get more involved with your mission? Is there a nonprofit arm that's coming to this thing?
Absolutely.
Like, help us understand.
So I just learned this. My reservation before nonprofits or getting involved with it is I didn't know if any of these were actually going to what they're saying to.
Sure.
I just had felt that none of it was really true. So once that's set up, I'm sure I'll be blasting it everywhere. But my DMs are always open. And a big thing that I've always wanted to make very apparent is that there's no... Yes, I am the leader of this brand in the community and the retreats and stuff, but I didn't want any hierarchical difference. I didn't want people to idolize me or anything like that. Like, I have a lot of things I need to work on as well, but the meaning of this is I've always want to be accessible to others. So if people want to get in touch with me, my DMs are always open, and I am terrible at DMs, but I will always get back. And yeah.
How do you discern that and keep that commitment as this thing really starts to blow up? Because it really seems like this has been a parabolic curve, like this bamboo tree where you've been planting seeds. You're not even at 1/1,000,000th of where this thing's about to be at this point. How do you keep up with that? Or at least intend to?
I wouldn't be here without them. So I feel like there's an aspect that I owe it to do that. You know, I never think I'm going to be too good to have lunch with someone or meet with someone or anything. It's too arrogant. It doesn't sit right with me. Again, like, there's a realism to that where I can't always do it, but I will most definitely make a pledge to make the effort.
So good, man.
Yeah. They were good. There's so much.
I mean, dude, you unpacked a lot here.
That was a blast.
That was good.
Yeah, thank you, fellas.
I want to understand. Let me think truly about this. Like, let's start here.
Sure.
Sorry for the pause. I'm just trying to think about intentional questions that are valuable. I don't want this thing to just ramble on. Like, what scares you?
I have a difficult time sometimes being lazy. And I think I think the real scary thing is not seeing my absolute potential. That really bothers me.
What do you do about it? Do you have coping mechanisms? And what are they?
In terms of like getting out of it?
Yeah, or to stay numb to it. Because I can certainly attest that I've done the same.
I scroll, and I would love to tell myself that I'm being productive with the content I'm consuming, but we all know it's bullshit. We're not retaining anything.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, it's the world's most powerful drug is the phone. I really struggle with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. I want to, because most of the time we're always looking at what did my 22-year-old self need to know at this point in the game. But I want to switch the frame a little bit. What should like somebody like my dad should have known that could have changed his life? You know, now that my dad, it saddens me because my dad's in his 60s now and has never traveled the world. He's scared to go on a plane, take experiences. I'm almost like, it's so sad. And I tell him this so I could share it publicly. Like, I almost feel like my dad's dead. He's just living over the same day every single time, which is like kind of like a lot of, I don't want to speak for your parents, but a lot of our parents' generation, they're just not open for change. And they're literally just living the same exact thing every single day.
I think it's really sad because of how fast we moved out of what they were used to. And so they are, if they didn't adapt, they're in the nicest way possible, their input is relatively useless because it's so alien to them, and it breaks my heart. My dad is also in his 70s, so I get it. They're older. They don't get this shit at all, and it breaks my heart.
If you could reverse engineer, let's say you when you're 70, what would you need to tell your 20-year-old self that you need to be doing to make sure that you don't feel the same way?
I think to have kids sooner. One of my biggest things I don't like is how old my parents are. And I don't want to do that to my kids.
Damn. That's deep.
Yeah.
We'll leave that as a tribute to Charlie Kirk too, because I know he was huge for that. Whew. This is our first pod since the whole Charlie Kirk thing, by the way. That's
Wow.
That was tough news, man. That was...
Dude, I was at my church group, and I told them I think a part of me died that day. I think every man has a little bit of a Peter Pan syndrome in them, because we still want to have fun and be an adolescent, right? We want to remain youthful. Mm-hmm. And after seeing that public execution, I think that ruined the last bit of kid in me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Theo Vaughn talk about it. He had like a little 20-minute, just right after it. And he was like, it's just crazy how someone can just eliminate you and just take you off the earth, and they don't even have to like look you in the eyes. They could just do it from a distance just because they disagree with you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Dude, that's deep.
Yeah, that still rocks me. I'm coping better with it, but that's a big thing I dislike. I don't think the modern people should be exposed. Like, that's the scary part about technology and video and streaming. Even like we saw with Ukraine and Russia, I don't think civilians should be exposed to the casualties of war. Either with stuff like that too. I mean, the amount it was being shared was just unbelievable, bro. It was crazy. And then their kids can at any point in their life when they're more sentient can find that video. Like that's I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine like their time at school. Some piece of shit is gonna say something to them, and it's
guaranteed they're gonna see that video at some point once they can actually. I mean, they're 5 and 3. I mean, by the time they're probably that 5-year-old in 2 years, 7, 8, you're pretty aware of what's going on in the world. You know what death is.
Yeah,
they're gonna see that video.
Yeah,
it's tough to conceive, man, that you can live 31 years of your life, and just because a difference of opinion you could get taken up. Like, it's something I struggle with even prior to that, is the fact that like people just die for nonsense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking about Chicago earlier. Yeah. People just kill each other over like who's selling drugs on what corner. It's like, yo, you lived 20, 30, 40 years of your life just to die for some bullshit for no reason, man. How do you think we come back to common ground at some point?
Oh, dude, it's been a question my friends and I have been talking about for a while. I mean, this mindset that the left has just needs to go. I mean, we talk about the church, it's demonic. Like that wasn't. I mean, there's a lot of debate. Like, was this God's will, or why did He let that happen? And the church is saying this is not God's will. That was a demonic entity that made that happen. And I don't know how much I subscribe too much to that. I mean, it's a little bit of a mega churchy-esque, but there is some truth to that. I think that's not a humane thing to do. It's just to publicly execute someone like that. There has to be some wiring that's fucked up there for you to just do that.
Yeah, I heard a unique opinion where I think Simon Sinek was talking about this on a podcast, and he was basically like, most people don't think they're evil. Both sides, whether you think like it could objectively be a bad thing to do and an evil thing to do, but that person, whoever killed him, there's a lot of conspiracies going around. So I haven't done enough digging. I haven't formed my own opinion on it, to be honest with you. But whoever killed him probably thought that they were doing something good.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just such a tough dynamic to realize. And I think the only solution is like, we got to get right with God, man.
Yeah.
If we can all level set that there's a larger thing that we're fearing and that we will get judged at some point, I think there's an opportunity to come a little bit closer together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what my pastor was saying that I liked. The question is like, why did he save Trump and not Charlie Kirk? And this was like, I guess some answer that he could have come up with was like, if Trump went down, the world would have been disaster. But then look at the result of what happened with Charlie,
Yeah. But I mean, think like it's almost more like it's almost easier to conceive if Trump was to get don't take this, don't clip this, by the way. It seems like a weird thing. It's easier to conceive Trump to get assassinated because like they've assassinated a president before. You're a presidential figure.
Yeah.
You have a target on your head at all the time, but to assassinate somebody who simply just goes to colleges and has a difference of opinion, whether how polarizing or not.
Yeah.
it's like, I feel like as we grow our platform, like you're never safe.
Yeah.
That's what Theo was saying. He goes, I'm scared.
Yeah.
It's Theo Vaughn, you know,
Yeah.
the most harmless guy probably on the planet.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, I'm genuinely scared. He's like, to have this platform and talk, and who knows? What if someone doesn't agree with me?
How have you guys felt about that? Because you guys have much larger platforms than we do currently. And, you know, you're relatively outspoken about your views on this stuff. Thoughts on that? Do you fear for your safety?
No, I don't think I'm as prominent yet for that to happen to me.
Sure.
I think it could happen if I were to involve myself more and start like really like if I were to go to events like that, I could see I would like to be like that person that has a target on their head at some point though, because I'm such a firm believer in my views.
Yeah.
There's a level of inspiration. It's catch-22 here because like you want that because of how many lives you can impact, but then the other side is the danger behind it.
Life's a game of trade-offs, man.
Yeah.
There is no utopia.
And to be honest, it does inspire me. As horrible as that may be interpreted, you want to stand up and rise to that type of stuff and like not be outspoken.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
about you?
Tate says that a lot.
Yeah.
Where he was like, as a man, he goes, if they don't want to kill you or put you in jail or shut you up, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
You're not standing up for what you believe in.
It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, with that stuff, I say this as like a joke, but I mean, I think it's true. I'm just like a Band-Aid for most people. Like with my platform, it's like, because I'm so like emotionally available and vulnerable and open that like people going through a tough time can relate to me. But it's like that nice guy syndrome, but I'm doing it like subconsciously. I'm not trying to do it. I'm just speaking from experience, but I help people until they don't need me anymore. And then like they leave, so it's like someone going through a heartbreak, they'll like listen to my shit and then like 6 weeks go by and they kind of get healed. Then they don't need me anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm not, I'm not really like, which sucks because it's hard to like build, but the only good thing is people are always going through heartbreak, but I'm like recycling new people that come and go. And then obviously there is people, but at least for the shit I do, I'd say I get 90%, 95% very positive feedback.
Good.
Well, I'm excited to see where it evolves because eventually you're gonna not go through heartbreak and you're gonna like find your wife at some point, right? And like
that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see where the theme of the podcast shifts a little bit to where like we had talked about this on our last podcast where you guys it's almost been like a cliche thing where you guys are known as like the guys that are crying and the breakup stuff, which is it's awesome to see the vulnerability. But what happens when like everything starts to trend in that other direction?
I think that's what's cool is where people can watch that. They can watch that growth.
Yeah. Think about how inspiring that is.
Yeah, and then they can see that like, damn, like I saw him like crying on a clip over heartbreak and he's been talking about women and then like he found his wife.
Nice.
So it shows people that like, hey, like you can go through really bad times in your life. You can go through heartbreak. People can fuck you over and then like you can still make it out, you know? And like, I think that's the cool thing because then I get to talk about love and relationships and the masculinity of being a man in this world and stuff like that from a totally different lens of not from hurt, but someone that got out of hurt and then made it here. So I think that's cool.
That's great.
So good, man.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, final wrap up thing for you guys. We had talked about a lot of like the process of becoming is really about like trying a lot of shit and then taking off things that we don't actually align with anymore, right? It's unbecoming. What are things that you guys in your current season right now need to let go of? As vulnerable as possible.
I'm terrible with money. I spend a lot. I'm not organized with it. That's something that needs to really all right, it's like now with this momentum shift, I'm also in the process of just restructuring everything and agreements and equity. We finally have paid taxes and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, I'm meeting with the accountant ironically on Monday, like, hey, you're going to fucking take care of this and you're going to be strict about it. You can have access to everything. I don't give a shit, but like, let's fucking grow up. Okay. Like stop being a jerk with money and being irresponsible and buying unnecessary things. And, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Cause I'm 27 now. It's like, all right, like you got to get a hold of this shit, you know?
Yeah. Cause that's something like at the, I've definitely been at that point where it's like, I could always just make more. And like eventually I'll get my shit together, you know?
Yes. That's what I'm like, you're doing well, but you're spending all of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's no growth here. So
Totally.
It's embarrassing, but I'm vulnerable enough to admit I'm terrible with it.
Appreciate you sharing that, man.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine's more like fear of missing out, like FOMO. Just try to throw that mindset out because, yeah, I just think it's something that I struggle with where I don't like to think about what could have been. So I always will do it and then like deal with the consequences after. Could be a positive effect, but also could be negative. But I'd rather figure that out for myself than let myself torment myself of what could have came from this situation if I would have went. And I'm talking in any aspect. Like my friends invite me out to the bar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I meet a girl. Maybe I get into a fight. Maybe a drunk driver hits me. I don't know, but like, not that I want to experience all these things, but like, I know the outcome of like sitting in my bed tonight.
Yeah.
You know, I know where that's gonna lead me. But I could go there and like I could have the best time of my life, or it could also be terrible. Yeah. But I don't know. I want to go. But then it's like fear of missing out of just any situation. I use that as an example. But it does put me in stupid situations where I'm like, bro, why'd I do that?
Yeah.
You know, but it was like this fear of missing out of like what could have been.
Yeah, true.
So it's a unique paradigm because I'm like, I have almost a reverse FOMO in that. Like, I have the fear of missing out of what it would look like to wake up at 6 a.m. on that Sunday and like actually, go on a walk and not feel hungover and stuff like that. Yeah. Which, like, it's a funny paradigm, right? Because like, we could have the fear of missing out on doing all the things that we quote unquote think are fun, but then there's also regret on the possible end of it, right?
The majority of the time.
Yeah. But then also on my end, I'm just staying too comfortable because I'm securing a guaranteed outcome of knowing what happens if I'm going to bed early and staying in, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like a big advocate of just like experiences, like you were saying, and like memories, like with people and like, I don't know, like as a man, like to me, there's nothing better than like just like going out with your boys and like having a great time. And like, I want to do that as much as possible while I still can. Cause like at some point I do want a wife. I do want a family, and I'm going to have to get a lot more serious, like in just the decisions that I make. But like, I don't know, I'm 28. I have like all the freedom in the world right now. I work for myself. I'm like, dude, like I don't want to be 45, 50, 60 and like, and you use it as like the potential of like what could have been, but I also want to live out my youth.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I get it. YOLO can be a very dangerous mindset to have, you know, and I think people use it in the wrong context, you know, like YOLO, you only live once. Like and that can be dangerous and life-threatening if you live it to that degree.
I have been in that season of life that you're in right now. I guess the answer to it would be to exhaust it.
But that's what I'm worried about. Do you ever exhaust it?
Yeah, because I don't go out ever anymore.
Yeah, I think when like
I won't even. Like it sounds ridiculous. Like I'm not gonna go into this bar and drink and spend all this useless money. It doesn't interest me in the slightest. And people have to pull me out if they really want. Like I'll only go for like a birthday.
It's like, look at the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
Right. It's like that shit. I've done it enough to realize like the same outcome happens every single time. Yeah. And what's the best thing that happens? 99% of guys, they'll tell you, oh, I'm looking out to go have a good time with the boys and stuff. You're going out to get laid. Yeah. That's what you're doing. Mm-hmm.
But then if you're going for a relationship, the girl you want to be in a relationship is not going to be subjecting herself to do.
Because she's likely going out to get laid too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
it's just a scary, snowball effect. Because like, you can have that mindset, right? Where you do exhaust it and eventually you're like, dude, I'm just fed up with this and I'm done with it. Or it's like, if you have this kind of like OCD addictive personality, which I do kind of have at times, it's always like, what's next?
Yeah.
Right. Cause like you could start out like, I mean, you see like these men with that, you know, it starts off as like a porn addiction. Like you can see how weird porn can get with some of these guys. Dude. Right. But it starts, your first time you watched porn, it was just regular porn. And then you hear these guys' stories like they're watching fucking anime hentai shit. Yeah. It's like, how the fuck did I get there, right? But then it could start with drugs, right? You start with a little bit of weed, then it's like coke, then it's fucking, now you're doing LSD, and then but like people that have this addictive personality, it can also get there because that's why I worry. Not that I'm like, and I'm speaking in context, objectively, like I don't struggle with those things,
sure.
And I do believe I have enough self-control to like. Know when enough's enough with certain things. Mm-hmm. But I just worry for I know a lot of people that have that where it is never enough and it's like, what's this next thing?
Yeah. Dude, I think it's like that Saturdays are for the boys, like fucking Barstool Sports, mindset that just these younger guys fucking die for, bro. These like fraternal style of living once you get out of college too, like it's like, dude, you are useless.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you doing with
it's a net negative for society, right? It's the way that really helped me is identifying like, and I'm not a huge science guy, but when I understood the science of like momentum compounds, so it's like whether it's positive momentum and negative momentum compounds significantly quicker than positive momentum, right? Yeah. So for every time I'm going out, I have to do like 3 times as much just to combat that negative momentum is the way that I'm at least rationalizing in my brain. It's not that extreme on the like the small nights of going out and stuff. But if my goal is large enough and I'm obsessed enough, how many like days, months, years, decades am I limiting myself by doing things that are no longer serving that mission?
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a really cool piece of artwork to have in your house is a memento mori. It's like this big thing. It'll literally track your age and years. It's like a dot. Like every day you'll fill in a dot.
Okay.
I've
seen those.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
And you see how much pretty much time you got left.
Nothing.
Right?
You got fucking nothing, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I think a lot of it combats, maybe I'm projecting here, is laziness and like inconsistencies.
Yep.
You know? Combats that.
Yeah.
It's motivation can only take you so far.
Yeah. For me, it's always been a coping mechanism of staying numb so that I don't have to take accountability for, not getting to the goal that I'm actually looking to achieve. Right. So that's where I'm in a radical season right now of subtraction. To the point where like any second, if I'm on my phone, my promise to myself is that if I ever take the time to go on my phone, I'm rather deleting a previous note or a picture or even a song on Spotify or unfollowing something that doesn't serve me, taking away an app.
I like that.
Radical subtraction, because I don't even have room or capacity in my life to add anything right now. So I'm in the process of decommitting to all the things that are no longer serving me. Because right now in this season, I've shared this on the podcast, but I never shared this with you, is like, I have committed to so many things, let's say 5 years ago. And right now I experience the byproduct of all of those things compounding in momentum so well in such a good way that it's all exploding at the same time. Yeah. But it wasn't the right definition of success. And so now I'm overloaded and not happy. Yeah. And it's a scary place to be, is like, like most people won't look at it this way because they're quote unquote thinking that they're successful because they're achieving the money part of it or whatever that looks like for them. The scariest part is that it hides in success a lot more than it's a lot more apparent when you're not on your game. That I don't know how else to go deeper into this thought, but it's
true. Yeah.
It's fucked. It's fucked for sure. That's the game of life. It's fun. And I hope that we use this platform to help people at least have a thought change,
Most certainly.
Boys, Zach, appreciate your first time co-hosting with me.
Yeah, that was fun.
This has been awesome. You do such a good job asking really, really good, thought-provoking questions. You're an expert, man. You've become a professional at your craft.
You know what he's also great at is the response to the questions.
Yeah.
Not just verbally, but just like emotionally or like eye contact or like mannerisms. I don't even know if you know.
It's
know
huge.
That.
No. I it's very important. Like,
because like I'll look at him and and that helps a lot. Though.
It gives you confidence when you're speaking. There's nothing worse than like when you're talking to someone and they're looking at you like this. Because now you're questioning yourself. Yeah. But I've just noticed that, and like I watch like Jay Shetty. Amazing at
wonderful
that.
trait, bro. And a huge compliment to you for that, because I had a phenomenal time, and honestly it was because of you guys in the conversations we had.
Well, that's my second level of appreciation is to you, man. To take time out of your schedule to fly out to Tampa and spend a couple of days with us. It's been nothing short of amazing. I mean, we've been together for literally 14 hours at this point. You flew in at midnight last night. Ripped a little golf cart ride.
Dude, such a fun time.
Had a great time. You had a beautiful 4 a.m. Gluttony binge eating session out of nowhere.
Breaking the fast.
Did you guys wake up? Did you like those texts? Thank you.
I texted Ella. I said, "Hey, we're probably gonna have to push this to like 1-2 p.m. Neither of them are awake." Dude, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. I'm really excited for the relationship. You are a world-class individual.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait to be involved in all your stuff. And anything you want to leave our listeners with at all?
No, it was a really big. It was a pleasure to be here. You guys are awesome individuals, and everything. You guys have the same sentiment, I feel.
Appreciate
and
you.
I don't want to discount it by just saying the same thing back to you, but just know it's the same for me.
Much love, man.
Thank you, brother.
You left it all on the field. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate you, Ella, behind the scenes on doing all these logistics. You're incredible. Bobby, who wasn't here with us this time for the first time. And thank you for producing. And tune in, like, subscribe. We love you. Peace.